Let me ask you something. What if the very thing you've been praying for, dreaming about, and waiting on is sitting right on the other side of the risk you're too scared to take? See, most people don't miss out on success because they weren't capable. They miss out because they never moved. They played it safe, stayed in their comfort zone, and talked themselves out of the blessing. But here's the truth. Nothing great ever came from playing small. If you want to change your life, if you want to step into your purpose, if you want to see what's really possible for you, you've got to take a chance. Playing it safe is something we're taught from a young age. We're told to stay in line, follow the rules, don't take too many risks, and always have a backup plan. While caution has its place, the truth is, staying in your comfort zone will never lead to anything extraordinary. Growth doesn't happen when you sit on the sidelines watching others play the game. Growth happens when you put yourself in the game, when you take the shot even if you might miss. You can't expect a different outcome if you keep doing the same things, staying in the same place, and surrounding yourself with the same level of thinking. Comfort might protect you from the pain of failure, but it also shields you from the joy of discovery. Every time you refuse to stretch yourself, every time you decide to wait until it's the right time, you're choosing a slower death for your dreams. And most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being wise, that they're being smart. But wisdom isn't hiding from challenge. It's knowing that challenge is the path to your better self. Nobody ever became great by sitting comfortably. They became great by moving through discomfort, by welcoming pressure, and by being willing to take a risk when others were afraid. Let's break it down. Think about a seed. A seed has to be buried under dirt, pushed into darkness, and forced to crack open before it grows into something beautiful. That's not a comfortable process. It's painful, but it's necessary, and so is growth in your life. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, if you're not willing to push through that soil to break your old self open, you'll never see the potential inside you bloom. You will live a life half lived, safe, predictable, but unfulfilled. Now, don't confuse this with being reckless. This isn't about throwing caution to the wind and making foolish decisions. It's about calculated courage. It's about seeing the opportunity on the other side of discomfort and being willing to go through the fire to reach it. The truth is, many people will never experience the life they were meant to live simply because they're too afraid to leave the familiar. They stay in jobs that drain them. They stay in relationships that hold them back. They keep talents buried because they fear criticism. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. You can't expect to walk into your destiny without stepping out of your current reality. That means breaking habits. That means doing things that scare you. That means letting go of what's comfortable and grabbing hold of what's possible. And yes, that's going to feel awkward. Yes, it's going to feel risky. But that's where the magic is. That's where the breakthrough lies. The greatest version of yourself is not waiting for you in the safe zone. It's waiting beyond the fear, beyond the doubt, beyond the hesitation. Every step you take outside of your comfort zone builds a new layer of strength, confidence, and resilience. You were not built to stay the same. You were built to grow, to stretch, to evolve. And that means you've got to get uncomfortable. So if you're sitting there wondering why life feels stagnant, ask yourself this: when was the last time I did something that scared me? When was the last time I stretched myself? Because if it's been a while, it's time to wake up. Time to shake the dust off your dreams. Time to get uncomfortable. Because that's where your breakthrough is waiting. People often sit back and wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the stars to align, for the bank account to look just right, for everyone around them to believe in their dreams before they even begin to move. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. And waiting for everything to be ideal is just fear wearing a disguise. It's procrastination dressed up as patience. If you're waiting until you feel completely ready, you'll be waiting forever, because fear will always find a way to whisper that it's not the right time. You have to stop asking for permission to chase what's been burning inside your heart. Nobody else has the blueprint for your destiny. Nobody else can see what you see. That vision that keeps you up at night, that idea that won't leave your spirit alone, it's not there by accident. It's divine. It's a calling. But if you don't act on it, if you keep letting the opinions and doubts of others silence your voice, you'll look back years from now and regret every opportunity you let slip through your fingers. The ones who make it, the ones who rise above the noise, are not the ones who had everything figured out from the start. They're the ones who started scared. They're the ones who said yes, even when they had no clue how it would work out. They just trusted that if they took the first step, the next one would appear. It's not about having a full map laid out. It's about trusting your inner GPS. You'll learn on the way. You'll grow as you go. But none of that happens if you don't move. You can't wait for confidence to come before you begin. Confidence comes after you take the step. It comes after you fail, after you fall, after you rise again. Every time you move forward, even a little bit, you build your belief muscle. And belief is the engine that drives every dream to reality. So stop looking at all the reasons why it might not work. Start focusing on the reasons why it must. Start thinking about the people depending on you to fulfill your purpose. The people your gift is designed to help. Because your breakthrough isn't just for you. It's tied to other people's deliverance. When you act boldly in the face of uncertainty, you unlock doors that fear would have kept shut. There's a courage inside of you that you haven't even touched yet. But it won't show up in theory. It shows up in action. And action means doing something today, not someday. Action means sending that email, making that call, creating that video, writing that plan. Whatever small step you can take right now to move closer to your goal, that step matters. Don't let the size of the dream stop you from taking the first move. Understand this delay is dangerous. Every day you don't move is a day you risk losing momentum. It's a day you give fear more power. So you've got to push yourself. You've got to say, I may not know what comes next, but I know I can't stay here. That alone is enough to get you started. And once you start, life starts meeting you halfway. Opportunities show up, people appear. Things begin to shift in your favor, but none of it begins until you do. So stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. This is your life. This is your shot. Take it. Trust that you are enough. Trust that what's inside of you is powerful. And above all, trust that taking the leap, even when you're scared, is always better than standing still in regret. Taking a chance will always require you to leave the safe zone. See, most people stay right where they are because it's comfortable, it's familiar, and it doesn't hurt. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in discomfort, in uncertainty, in those moments when you have no choice but to stretch beyond your limits. Life wasn't designed to be played safe. If it were, there'd be no dreams, no breakthroughs, no transformations. Playing it safe might keep you from failing, but it also keeps you from flying. Every successful person you admire, every story that inspires you, started with someone who stepped into the unknown without all the answers. They didn't have it all figured out. They just knew that staying stuck where they were was more painful than risking the fall. They got tired of being average. They got sick of watching others live out their dreams while they kept making excuses. So they decided to jump. They stepped out in faith, and that step changed everything. Was it scary? Absolutely. But what's scarier is living your entire life knowing you never even tried. It's funny how people want change, but they're unwilling to change their position. They want better, but they won't let go of what's comfortable. You can't receive new blessings with a closed hand. You've got to be willing to let go of what's holding you back in order to make room for what's waiting for you. And that takes courage. That takes the kind of mindset that says, even if I don't know what's on the other side, I believe it's better than being stuck in this same spot. You were not created to be stagnant. There's more in you, and deep down you know it. You felt that pull inside, the one that tells you you're meant for something greater. That's not just imagination. That's purpose knocking. That's destiny calling. But purpose can't flourish where there's no movement. You've got to step. You've got to act. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. You can read all the books, listen to all the speeches, and make all the vision boards you want. But until you take that first risky, scary step, everything stays exactly the same. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be lonely at times. People won't always understand your decision to leap. They'll call you crazy. They'll tell you to be realistic. They'll try to talk you back into your cage. But don't listen. You weren't given your vision so someone else could validate it. You were given your dream because you're the one equipped to bring it to life. Let their doubt fuel your drive. Let their disbelief make your determination louder. You don't need approval to become who you were created to be. And when you take that chance, when you truly walk out on faith and move in the direction of your calling, you awaken something powerful inside of you. You start discovering levels of strength you didn't know you had. You become resourceful. You start attracting the right people. Doors begin to open that were never even visible before. That's the beauty of risk. It unlocks potential. Not because it guarantees success, but because it guarantees growth. You've got to be willing to lose what's familiar to gain what's extraordinary. That's the price of elevation. Playing it safe will give you a safe life. But taking a chance, that's what leads to greatness. So don't just dip your toe in, dive. Bet on yourself. Risk being uncomfortable today so you can live fulfilled tomorrow. The greatest version of your life is waiting on the other side of your fear. And the only way to reach it is to take the chance. You can't grow if you're afraid to fail. That's the truth most people run from. Failure has been painted as this terrifying monster, something to be avoided at all costs. But in reality, failure is the classroom where success is taught. Every mistake, every misstep, every rejection, it's all part of the process that shapes you, strengthens you, and sharpens your skills. Nobody makes it to the top without stumbling along the way. If you're not failing at something, you're probably not trying hard enough. See, people think failure is the opposite of success. It's not. Failure is part of success. It's the bridge that gets you there. Every champion, every innovator, every game changer has stories full of failure. They've been laughed at, doubted, overlooked, and underestimated. They've launched things that flopped, made decisions that backfired, and trusted people who let them down. But the difference between them and everyone else, they didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They understood that every no was leading them closer to a yes. And every fall was building the resilience to stand taller the next time. When you fail, you learn. You learn what works, what doesn't, who you are, and what you're made of. You learn how to adjust, how to adapt, and how to come back stronger. That kind of education isn't found in books. It's earned through experience. And that experience is priceless. It gives you the edge. It builds character. It humbles you in the right way and hardens you in the right places. It teaches you grit. And let me tell you, grit will take you further than talent every single time. People avoid taking chances because they're scared of failing. But in doing so, they fail by default. They stay in their comfort zone, convincing themselves that safety is wisdom. But it's not wisdom, it's fear in disguise. Playing it safe might protect your ego, but it will rob you of your destiny. You can't let the fear of falling keep you from flying. You were not created to be ordinary. You were created to rise, to evolve, to impact. But none of that happens unless you're willing to go through the tough lessons that failure brings. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to try and fall short. What's not okay is to stop trying because you didn't get it right the first time. You've got to give yourself permission to fail forward. Don't hide from your failures. Own them. Look them in the eye and say, you didn't break me. You built me. Because every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure carries a lesson. And every lesson brings you closer to your breakthrough. The truth is, the people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never quit. They kept showing up. They kept learning. They kept growing. They use failure as fuel, not a finish line. And that mindset, that refusal to back down in the face of defeat, is what separates dreamers from doers. So when you fall, and you will, don't stay down. Wipe your tears, dust yourself off, and get back in the ring. You're not out of the fight until you stop swinging. Remember this, your failures do not define your future. Your response to them does. Embrace the lessons. Respect the process. And know that every failure is proof that you're in the game, that you're pushing beyond average, that you're trying to live the life you were meant to live. You won't win every time. But every time you get back up, you're one step closer to your win. So don't fear failure, use it. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it prepare you for the greatness that's waiting on the other side. Taking calculated risks is a requirement for growth and transformation. Playing life too safe might keep you from losses, but it also keeps you from wins. Success doesn't come knocking on the doors of those who wait around hoping to be discovered. It shows up for those who bet on themselves, who move even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. You've got to be willing to take that leap, even when the landing isn't clear. That's the real secret. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. People wait for the right time. The perfect moment, when all the stars align, the money is right, the support is in place, and everything feels safe. But life rarely offers those perfect conditions. If you wait for everything to be lined up, you'll be waiting forever. Growth demands that you make decisions before you're ready, that you take action while you're still uncertain, that you push yourself outside what's familiar and into what's possible. That's where you stretch. That's where you evolve. That's where you become someone new. Calculated risk is not about being reckless. It's about being intentional. It's about assessing your situation, understanding your options, and then making a move with purpose and faith. It means you're not jumping blind. You're jumping with vision. You're not gambling everything without thought. You're trusting that what's on the other side of your effort is worth the challenge it takes to get there. Every successful person has, at some point, put something on the line. Whether it was time, energy, money, reputation. They made the choice to move forward when the outcome wasn't guaranteed. That's risk. That's courage. When you take a calculated risk, you step into territory where most people won't go. And that's why most people don't grow, because they're not willing to get uncomfortable. But if you can quiet the fear and move with strategy and confidence, you set yourself apart. You begin creating a life that reflects boldness and belief. You start building momentum that others notice, and opportunities begin to appear where there used to be hesitation. All because you decided to take a chance. Let's be real. Nothing worth having comes without a fight. Whether it's starting a business, switching careers, writing a book, relocating, or going after a dream, it all comes with uncertainty. But uncertainty doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's new. And new is where your next level lives. You can't stay in the old version of you and expect new outcomes. You've got to make a move. And when that move involves risk, it's simply a sign that you're on the edge of something greater than what you've known. You will never be 100% ready. That's just a fact. But what you can be is committed. Committed to trusting yourself. Committed to growing through the process. Committed to betting on your gift. And when you do that, when you decide to take that chance with wisdom, courage, and persistence, you open doors you didn't even know were there. You give life a reason to respond to your effort. You create motion. You create possibility. You create change. So don't sit on the sidelines of your own life, waiting for guarantees. Don't talk yourself out of your future because the road isn't fully paved. Get in the game. Make the move. Take the shot, because the risk of staying stuck is far greater than the risk of trying and failing. Take the calculated risk. Trust the process. Back yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you win. Failure is not the end, it's a lesson. It's a stepping stone, not a tombstone. Too many people let one failure define their future, when in truth, failure is part of the journey to greatness. You don't learn how to walk without falling. You don't learn how to win without losing. Every person you admire, every success story you celebrate is filled with moments of doubt, defeat, and disappointment. The difference is they didn't stop there. They got back up. They learned. They adjusted. And then they kept moving forward. That's what taking a chance teaches you. It teaches you that failure is feedback, not a final verdict. You have to develop a new relationship with failure. Stop seeing it as proof that you're not good enough. Start seeing it as evidence that you're brave enough to try. You stepped out. You put something on the line. You took initiative. Most people won't even do that. So the fact that you tried already separates you from the crowd. And now that you've got the experience, no matter the result, you're wiser than before. You know more. You see more clearly. And now, you're in a better position for your next move. When you take a chance, you either win or you learn. That's it. There's no losing unless you quit. And that's the part most folks miss. They think failure is something to fear. But the real danger lies in regret. In wondering what could have happened if you had just tried. Regret is heavy, it lingers. It whispers to you when you're alone. Failure, on the other hand, is temporary. It stings, sure. But it teaches, it molds, it refines. If you embrace it with the right mindset, failure becomes your best coach. Every setback has the potential to be a setup for your comeback, if you let it. But you have to stop taking failure personally. You have to stop letting it attack your identity. Just because an idea didn't work out doesn't mean you're a failure. Just because the timing was off doesn't mean you missed your chance forever. It just means you're on the path. And paths have bumps, they have turns, they have valleys and hills. But they still lead somewhere. So don't stop walking just because the terrain got rough. Let's be real. The fear of failure is what holds most people back. But fear is a liar. It tells you that you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that you're not capable. But if you wait until you're fearless to take a step, you'll be stuck forever. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the face of it. It's saying, yeah, I might fall, but I'll get back up stronger. That mindset alone can change your entire life. The people who go the furthest in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail forward. They get the lesson and keep it moving. They stop crying over closed doors and start knocking on new ones. They don't let one no define their entire narrative, because they understand that growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge. It comes from friction. It comes from those moments that break you just enough to build you better. So don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of not growing. Be afraid of not evolving. Be afraid of living your whole life safe, comfortable, and unchallenged. Because deep down, you'll always know you were capable of more. Take the chance. Learn from the loss. Build from the broken pieces. And remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Embrace it, grow from it, and keep pushing. Your next level is waiting, and it's built on everything you've learned so far. So here's what it comes down to. Life won't hand you guarantees, but it will hand you opportunities. And those opportunities, they only matter if you're bold enough to take a chance. Yes, it might be scary. Yes, you might stumble. But the greatest reward lies on the other side of risk. Playing it safe might keep you comfortable, but it won't take you higher. If you want to step into your purpose, if you want to see what's really possible for your life, you've got to leap, heart first, fear and all. Because you'll never know what you're truly capable of until you stop waiting and start walking. Take the chance. The future you is counting on it.